Hey guys, welcome to another episode of All Bass Creations, effects, tutorials, demos, and review. Today we'll be going through different types of modulations, and I'll be giving you some different examples of them from different pedals, mainly stereo ones, so you could really hear them in a nice wide stereo field like you've been doing. So, this is my bass dry. Right? And let's say, we started off with the Enzo X, which is an amazing synth unit, but it has some great modulations in there. If you haven't already, hit that like button for me. You know how it is. Let's get it in. But so that's the flanger. The flangers, I love flangers actually. Flanger was one of the first modulations I really kind of got into that I just knew I really liked it, And it's definitely been different. Bring up this chat real quick. I don't want to leave y'all out. See something. Make sure everything up and running real quick. Somebody in the chat, let me know if everything sound good, feel good, all that good stuff. Let's see something here. I got to check on, we'll be having problems sometimes, but we ain't gonna do that today. All right, there we go. Okay, what's going on, folks? Appreciate y'all chiming in. See, I ain't even see all these chats. See? That's why I needed this on. Yeah, appreciate y'all chiming in. I ain't forgot about y'all. So, you get some great action out of some flangers, you know what I'm saying? Slapping, you can slap with them as well. Yeah, if you knew thanks for coming through. If you're new, thanks for the compliments. You know what I'm saying? I ain't singing and doing nothing like that. Yeah, it's 6-string bass. And definitely appreciate all the compliments. Thank you guys. It means the world. And, you know, something about running these stereo just makes it all worth it. I don't know why running stereo when you playing bass, it just, a lot of engineers don't like to do it. I'm not gonna lie to you. But when you get away with it, man, can you get some nice results? And it adds a nice, like, wideness to the sound compared to without it. All the, I like my modulations pretty slow and like with a good amount of depth to them. So like they really and a good amount of resonance in there as well. And when I'm looking for something for bass, I want something that still won't let me have that bottom. And also, if you haven't already, hit that like button on wherever you're at. Appreciate all y'all chiming in on Facebook as well, and over on Twitch as well. Appreciate everybody hanging out with me as usual. YouTube always popping. Appreciate y'all. So like that just gives you, it's just a very nice flanger. They also have, of course, they have a chorus. They have a chorus, vibrato. What else they got on here? Chorus, flanger, vibrato, phaser, and a ring mod on here. So let's go from flanger to a nice chorus. So you can get some really, and normally you don't always have to use it that heavy. Like, you can also use it pretty light. Of course, I have that with the 100% mix. I can have that with a 30% mix. And just get some of the width of the chorus there. So without it. with it. So that's also another option with it. Yeah, I love some good fuzz on there as well. You know what I'm saying? But we on modulations at the moment. So yeah, that's just a very nice chorus, and of course you can always change that to try my best not to kick this camera. If you need more, turn it on the mix. Then we also have vibrato on here. And you can get some, let me explain something about the Enzo X. You can get some really advanced stuff going on with these modulations based on, the modifiers and things like that. So I'm not going to go into all of that, but just know that every one of these parameters for the modulations can be assigned to a modifier where you set different parameters by pressing a button like that. So I particularly think that, it's just a great value. The Enzo X, that is. You can just get some wild stuff. Just change the shape to square. So you can even have a sine wave shape form for that, or you can have a square. That's literally a vibrato doing that. That's crazy. And you wouldn't expect a lot of this stuff from a vibrato, but you can get some really awesome stuff. And of course, if you set the modifier, you can set the modifier to the speed, where to go. Where my speed at? Get just really just unusable sounds with anything, right? So I guess it's just important to kind of keep it within reason, you know? Keep it within reason. So you can get some really great sounds with this thing, you know, in general. So that's vibrato, phaser. And of course, you know, with like anything, you slow it down a little bit, it'll actually see, you can just make up anything with these. And it's got that nice rubbery texture to it. That's what I really do love about the Enzo X in particular. Everything it does individually makes it a great pedal. You know, not just what it does by itself. Check this out. So I love the fact that you can just take an Enzo X and get your modulations, your synths, your pads, your ARPs, your octavers. It's got a compressor now in there. It's just a really insane pedal. On top of that, it's all in one ecosystem that you can have the modifiers do crazy things. You can have the expression pedal control up to 6 different parameters at once. Just an insane amount of stuff that you can do. Yeah, you got a little disco going. So you could just get some really nice big modulations out of this. And this is, yes, you don't have a million of them in there. You got one of each. But the one they gave you of each is amazing. Just like they gave you 3 reverbs, but every single one of those reverbs are amazing, along with the one delay they gave you that's stereo. So it can be, set for a lot of different things. And it's just a great unit. For $600, after you play it, you're like, okay, I see it. I see it. You know what I'm saying? Especially, you can run anything through an Enzo X as well. So, any of these pedals you can run anything through. These, it just works that way. But, with the exception of maybe like octavers and the synth pedal, like the Future Impact might have a hard time. But, yeah, so, and the Future Impact does have modulations. I'm just not going through those. Feel free to ask questions. Feel free to chime in where you from. You know what I'm saying? Everybody put in the comments where they from. You're hanging out with me. I appreciate all y'all hanging out with me on all the various platforms. You know what I'm saying? Because you could be doing anything right now. And guess what you're doing? You're hanging with me. So I appreciate it. Thank you. As well as if you want any of my presets for my pedals on Patreon, all that stuff's available if you want to support the channel, on Patreon. That would be greatly appreciated. But all right, so they also have I don't really consider a ring mod is technically, I guess we could go through it. Now this ring mod, and something like this, you can also kick on like a filter or something like that, Let's go. Nice filter. Let's figure out a nice filter for this. In fact, let's go up. Let's go to this one. It's interesting how a ring mod can be anything from this little beepy sound. Yeah, it's a ring mod. Ring mod all the way down yeah, it's just a ring mod is one of those effects where it definitely is something either you like it or you hate it. You know, I personally think it can be very useful at times. You know, depending on the sound you're going for, especially when you add in like an octave or something. And that is, I don't even know why I went outside of the unit to do that ring mod, but we got a filter. Yeah, I'm not gonna go through setting all that up. So you got plenty of options with this thing. You can throw on an octaver, filter, and all that on that. So you know that's one of the really cool things about it. It really is like almost like a multi effects unit type thing. Well, it is a multi effects unit. It's a synth pedal, it's an octave pedal, it's a mod pedal, filter, and you get 3 types of filters in there and a full ADSR. I don't know why I keep saying it wrong like that. But yeah, so great option. But let's hop over to the MS-70CDR Plus. And we'll start with the tri-chorus on there. Now, this tri-chorus is designed after the TISA electronic one, you know, so it's pretty much an emulation of it, and it sounds spot on. So, you know, say you wanted a pedal that you like these modulations in here, you know, you at least get this one is as similar to the one in here as possible, to be honest, like without actually being it. But you can be the judge of that. nice, wide, very spacious chorus there. I have to say, it's like it's one of those things where I can make that a lot more subtle for like really like ballads or things like that, you know. Right, instead of being, super. And then what's that, 59? So let's bump that down to 30. So you can hear how it even brings out the harmonics a little bit more, really makes it a nice. It gives it just a slight beautiful movement to it, And that's at 30%, I had it at what, 59? Oh, it just sounds so. I don't know if you're listening to headphones, it gives you such a nice warm feeling in there, like listening to it. So you can hear how much it adds a nice character to it, and that's $120 multi effects pedal. And it has some of the best modulations. I mean, period. In my opinion, they did an excellent job at modeling things on here. This is one of my favorite units. Even the swell vibrato is really nice, especially for chords or synth stuff. Like say I threw on a patch. Let me see. Do I have what I got on? Nah, that ain't my patch. Let's go. Sorry about that, folks. There we go. Without it. Oh, this already got vibrato on it. Ah. Let me find the patch. Dang, I kind of program all these like that. Let me see. Let me see. Let me find one on the C4 synth. All right, that'll be a good example. It just adds like just a subtle singing quality the way I have it set up. You know, but it definitely is a very useful effect. You can make it way more dramatic than that. I tend to not want that. You know, I want it to be a very subtle singing like thing. You know, even when I'm playing, say, it's a good, I got swell on here. This will work. Oh, that's what's going on. I'm like, what is going on? Let me get to something that's bypassed real quick. There we go. I'm gonna make that a little more obvious. Woo! That's fire. That's a fire effect. You hear how it lets the beginning of the note come through, and then it goes to singing on you. It's almost like it's singing now. So I definitely appreciate you chiming in. Thanks, appreciate that. Yeah, trying to make sure we do some things that we can show you. Oh, it's still a bass. It's always gonna be a bass, no matter what you do. And if you playing it on this instrument, it's a bass. Okay. Same way when the keyboard player when they play their little sounds on there, you don't say I don't think this is a keyboard anymore. It's still a keyboard. It's still primarily a in the piano family type thing. So it's just using different sounds. So now we're just using our controller, which is our bass, as for different things. We went all that is an octave up, from the Hog 2 with a little bit of sweetening from the Color Box V2 tone model on the ToneX, running that into the swell vibrato, filter delay, ping pong, filter delay, ping pong delay, into the Searchlight on the HX1. So you already in that synth territory. And you still can add that tri-chorus on there. This is years and years of experimentation with sounds and just, trying out different things. You never know everything, but you can always learn something new. It's almost like having a whammy bar. But then, like I said, a lot of that is the MS-70 CDR plus adding that swell vibrato, the filter delay, ping pong delay, and tri-chorus. If I take everything else, if I take that off and leave everything else, that whole octave sound, including the swell into the octave, is the Hog 2. So that's the sound coming from the Hog 2. Then you add the combination of sounds on the MS-70 CDR plus. Oh, that's sweet. Throw that into a big reverb. So yeah, you can do a lot with vibrato in the way of creating that extra expressiveness in your playing. That's really sometimes it's hard to do. Oh, I appreciate the super chat. Appreciate the super chat. I can't pronounce your name, but thank you very much. I definitely appreciate it. Yes, I do have an album. My album, that website right there, allbasscreations.bandcamp. I actually did an entire album with just my bass and effects and no MIDI. So everything you hear on the All Bass Creation album is actually my actual bass sound with actual effects on it. So I use like the only stuff, you know, pitch detection, a few of the pitch detection type things like the Mel 9, Key 9, V256, you know, vocoder on there. But that whole entire album is eight tracks, all original compositions, all by myself. And, you know, only thing I didn't do is mix and master it. So, you know, you can check that out, as well as I have other singles on there where I played piano and drums in addition to playing bass and the lead parts from my bass and pads and everything from my bass. So you can check all that stuff out on there. And then there's another 2 singles on there where I invited a couple of my drummer friends to come in and help me out. So definitely, please check out that album at allbasscreations.bandcamp. That's the best place to support me if you really want to support, you know, the other streaming. Y'all know how streaming is. It'll be a long time in between before I see some money for some streaming. You know, I think that's about everybody. So, but yeah, getting to the being able to have these different things on top, you know, modulation wise is pretty amazing, especially in today's world where you got all these different things like the MS. Let me turn that swell off. I forget the MS-70 Plus. You know, let me turn this back. Okay, so let's go over to the vintage flanger on here. And the thing is, you got tons and tons of modulations on here, and not even almost, all of them are usable in some way, shape, or form. I didn't run across one where I was like, oh, this is disgusting. Can't possibly use this. Look at the width on this thing. Whoa, pause. I'm gonna add some overdrive just so you can hear it with the overdrive, with some nice overdrive. Where I want to add it from? I'll add it from the MS-60B Plus, the bass brother of the MS-70 CDR Plus. So which one is it? Where is that? Might do a little clear drive. Get some more dirt on there. Let's go back and just we'll take some of the butt out of this. Yeah. So you could do some really, really nasty stuff with this joint, and just I absolutely love what you can do with it. You know, you can for $120, really? You know, vintage flanger. Let's go. Let's go back. Warp phaser. Without it, let's take this off real quick. And when you're hearing this sound, this is just my Empress compressor running into ToneX 1, which is running a color box into a Jens Benz Shuttle 9.0 tube head tone model. And that's running into the Atlas compressor with an 1176 limiter running at a 10-to-1 ratio parallel into, which is half wet, half dry, into an LA2A limiter that is a tube, you know, just for saturation, set to a 1-to-1 ratio. So that just gives you a nice, gives you a little bit of dirt on there, you know, from the color box and from the actual tube of the Jens Benz, but not a whole lot. And with the modulations, a little bit of saturation with a little bit of dirt on it definitely helps it, the modulations cut through. If you don't want to have them super heavy, you know, just a little bit of dirt helps them cut. But the warp phaser, this warp phaser is my absolute favorite phaser in the world. I mean, it's the best one to me. And it's on all the Zoom pedals, even when it was on the Zoom B3, which I had the Zoom B3, the original MS-60B. It was amazing on there as well. I wonder, do they have it on here? Let me see if they got it on here, because that would be, I don't want to change the settings. Let me see if they got it on here for you guys. Got the bass flanger on here, the bass detune, all that. No warp phaser on here, unfortunately, on the MS-60B Plus. You know, but the MS-60B, MS-70 CDR Plus definitely has it. And I believe the Zoom B6 has it, but don't hold me to it. I haven't looked at the list in a while. But yeah, all of these are just super amazing. Just amazing. Like, I just don't understand why people are sleeping on these Zoom multi-stomps. How can you not like that sound? Like, that's just such a massive, and it's nice, and you can make it subtle. Even if you take all the resonance out, you still getting that nice phaser sound. And of course, you know, it does help that I have these other pedals. My overall setup is just kind of warm in general. Here's just my bass by itself. So, you know, great sounding bass by itself, you know, of course, but little compression, little saturation, and a little bit of drive in there. More saturation, a little bit of limiter. And normally this is a little louder, but I'm tired of having it clip on stream. So, you know, I made the limiter like to stop all of that for you guys. But when you kick on that, ooh, it's nasty. Yeah, I just really like this phase. I get caught up playing this warp phaser all the time. Every time I play it, I just get caught up playing it. You know. But yeah, so that's the warp phaser. Beautiful. D-tune. I love this D-tune on here. It can get really synthy. So even just adding it to an octaver is going to add something nice, you know. Let me see. I want the color blocks plus the Ampeg SGT color box plus color box V2 going into an Ampeg SGT DI. That's what this particular tone model is. Let's hear a little bit here with it. It just adds. But it doesn't have like the swooshing sound of a typical chorus because there's no LFO. It's just literally a copy of your bass sound. Your bass sound basically delayed and then just detuned. Just nasty work. Hit that like button for me if you haven't already. And if you already hit the like button, hit the hype button. You know, this little $120 unit, if you're on a budget, this is the way to go. Like, if you can't get the, if everybody ain't got the 600 for the Enzo X, right? But the 120 for the is a steal. Then, next best things would be something like these two, the HX1 or the Plethora X1. In terms of money, you know what I'm saying? The value, like for 120, none of these pedals are even close to what the MS-70 CDR Plus can do. Yes, they have their own charm. That's why they've made it on the pedal board. I love the Plethora X1, and I actually do, even though I have a love-hate relationship with Line 6 pedals because I feel like they don't cater to bass players enough. I do like the HX1's reverbs and delays are just like top notch. They sound incredibly good, and they sound like massive as well. So, there's trade-offs with everything, but and just it's just you get pretty out there with it. You almost start sounding like a honky-tonk piano. And the more pre-delay you add in there, and this is just the detune. And something I found out from our amazing friends at Meris the other day is that filters are delays. Of course, I already knew all the modulations pretty much you can make them with delay in some way, shape, or form. But also filters as well. I did not know that. So learned that filters are part of that family too. And that's really, I found that really interesting. So hopefully. That's crazy that is a. It's like that because I got that pre-delay all the way up. Bring the pre-delay down. It's amazing how you can change a few settings and you go from a really grimy, just crazy sound to something that's way more just, I don't want to say usable. I mean, technically it is more usable for it works for more applications. Let's put it like that, compared to the crazier out there sounds. Feel free to hit that like button, folks. You know what I'm saying? I see everybody hanging out, and I appreciate y'all. Just make sure you hit that like because it helps me out a lot. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to coming back around. So help me out there. And don't forget to subscribe so you can know when I go live and do stuff. I do stuff like this almost every day, twice a day. You know what I'm saying? I did a morning session. It's the evening session. Help me out. You know what I'm saying? I got y'all. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to bring y'all some information, saving y'all money right now. Everybody just glance over this joint. So yeah, I can't go through all the modulations on the MS-70 CDR Plus or any of these units because, going through all the settings and everything because there's so many of them. They're multi-effects units, so they're meant to have a huge variety of sounds, but these are just some of the sounds that I've found on there that work for me. And like I said, if you want any of these presets on my presets for different things, such as the Enzo X MS-70 CDR Plus, Future Impact V4, C4 synth, 11 different preamp packs for ToneX 1, MS-60B Plus, and Zoom B6. You can find all that stuff on the Patreon. Appreciate you. And let's go. So now we're going to come over to the actual TC Electronic Plethora X1. Let's make a nice wide chorus here. So, that's just one of my absolute favorite chorus in the world. I'm so glad, I like hold up. All right. So I like the fact that, there's an emulation on the MS-70 CDR Plus, but here's a comparison between the two. So, you know, that's kind of like a direct comparison of the two. They both sound really good, you know, and you can get them even closer than that, to be honest, but, you know, that's not the point of the video. But, you know, I just wanted to do a quick comparison. You can, you know, sonically, you could hear that those would be similar, you know, could be similar. But, all right. You also got the flanger, which was the first thing you heard from there. See if we get some more practical settings on that. Really in the synth territory with this thing. It's like really synthy. It's like somehow you can tell it's still a bass, but it's like kind of really synthy at the same time. So, you know, it gets like that rubber band, it makes it feel like spongy when you play it as well. Like, so it's really, it's a, you know, effects kind of make you play differently. It's a hard thing to explain, but it's like a texture that gives you, and for some reason that texture makes you play like that. That's without it. With it. Oh, and just so you know, in case you're not familiar with the Plethora X1, every slot can be 2 effects. So you can have every slot set up to be A and B. So right now we're on slot 4. And the A was the chorus, that tri-chorus that you heard. The B is this flanger. This is flanger, right? Yeah, this is the flanger. About to say, I know that's a flanger. It got to be. But that running into, you know, both of those there, but in each slot you also have 5 different types of that. So you can have the tone print that you store, and then you also can have, it also has a 5 built-in types built into it of each slot by just using this little toggle there. So if you're when you're on the slot A, you can go through different types of chorus. It's not just the tri-chorus. You got the tri-chorus alternate, I believe, in there. You got the classic mode and all this other, the Corona chorus is in there as well. Then you have like the flanger side, which, you know, you can flip through different things on there as well, 5 different ones on each slot. So really you're getting 6 variations of each effect per slot times, you know, it's 7 slots. So 2 of those, that's 14 times each one of those having what I think is 5 and then 6 slots. I mean 6 different variations of those effects. So, you know, you can do a lot with a Plethora X1. It's deceptively easy to use, or easier than people would think it is to use. It has really in-depth parameters in the app, but it does have a lot that you can get done with those 3 pedals. I mean, those 3 knobs on there, the A, B, and C, which you can assign to 3 different parameters each. You know what I'm saying? So you can control up to 9 different things just by turning 3 knobs. You know, that's pretty sweet. So but when you set it up like that, you will lose the feature, the mash feature. And then you can, you know, that's something else. That's another feature on there that's similar to the HX1's Flux. You know, pretty much you can set up a different set of parameters on the same effect, and when you press that mesh knob, it'll go into those other parameters and potentially have the effect go heavier or crazier, you know, all that good stuff. But all right, then we got the phaser. Oh, that phaser kicking. So, you know, it's got a nice phaser on there as well. Vibrato. All these are different variations, by the way. This is the the vibe, viscous vibes pedal. So like literally all these are different variations. Yeah, let's go here. This is fine. Which is another variation of their vibrato. They have this one, the viscous vibes, and the other one is the what is it called? What's this other joint called? It's the orangish yellow pedal. I can't think of it at the moment, but it's the other vibrato pedal. So, vibrato there. This is the tremolo. Mind you, all these pedals have all the modulations, the chorus, flanger, tremolo, phaser, every single modulation all of them have. And they have good variations to each one of them. So I'm also going to be coming out with an X1 pack as well, as they open up this app to allow you to download presets and install them as well. So I'll be having a pack where you can buy settings for the Plethora X1. Difficult part is the Plethora X1 has so many effects and variations in there, man, and so many parameters that can change everything. It's going to take a while to get that X1 pack together. I have to just sit down for a couple days and just do it. So, hit that like button if you're hanging out with me, if you haven't already. And, if you want, go ahead and subscribe, you know what I'm saying? And make sure you keep up. And if you feel like it, Super Chat, Cash App, all that good stuff is amazing. As well as all of my presets are available over on Patreon. Don't forget about that. For all these digital pedals you see, more than likely there's a pack for it on the Patreon. So, and things you don't see like the Zoom B6. So, all right. Tremolo. So we'll leave it at that with that. And to be honest, just, for the sake of not having an hour long, I'm already at over an hour, but 1 million hours of bass modulation stuff. The HX1 really only has one modulation that I use that I really like on there for bass. And like I said, I told you guys my gripe with them, you know, is more so that they don't make things specifically for bassists. It's like they make all this, they kind of make us buy all this extra guitar stuff we don't need when they could have used all that space to put more bass-centered things in those places for bassists. You know, one thing I can appreciate about like the ToneX, when they first was making the ToneX one, you know, they just came out with the signature bass collection, and that allows you that now you're gonna get a bass edition where it comes loaded up with the bass amps, versus before you get it and it's all guitar amps. You know, it was kind of, I had to go and do all my own tone models, and that's back when every tone model took an hour, and it just, you know, creating that pack was a hike too. But you know, I definitely say that the HX1, the main modulation I use in there, you know, for bass purposes is going to be the analog flanger. So now it's on now. So I got a subtle setting. Right. Without it. With it. That's what I said about creating, you know, you don't have to have such an extreme setting where you really hear it. You can actually use the effects like this flanger where it's just a thickening, like it just adds like a nice texture to it, warmness to it. Without it. It's one of those things that it's just so subtle where when you put it on, you almost don't hear the difference until you take it back off. Then you like, oh, now I can hear exactly what it's doing. Without it. With it. I actually love this analog flanger. It's so unique sounding. Like, to be honest, like it's the most unique sounding flanger, like in the cleanest. I don't know how to even really describe how it's like clean, but something like that can be easily your, you know what I'm saying, pedal for whatever. that flux. It's just so clean sounding. I don't have another flanger in my arsenal that sounds like that. And it sounds so analog almost, like that. If you talk about how I would want an analog flanger to feel and sound, that's what I would imagine. Like just even if I never heard one, like I mean, as long as I knew what a flanger sounded like. If you was like, now imagine that, but warmer and cleaner and bigger. Oh, that's disgustingly good. Imagine adding something like the Future Impact to that. Oh my goodness. Give it up for the Future Impact first off. But give it up for that flanger though. Give it up for that flanger though. That joint is fire. The flanger is fire. That's the best modulation on there. I don't even use none of the other ones. That joint is fire. That analog flanger on the HX1 is... Oh, that joint is crazy work. First off, here's the sound without it. Give it up for the Future Impact. Just nasty work. Just nasty. How you just gonna let me create a patch like that, which is also available on my Patreon for people to just buy? How they gonna do that? Oh, that Future Impact crazy. Got the guitar work in there. And along with the synth work, just nasty, just stacking. You just covering mad ground. This is like, perfect for trio, perfect sound for a trio. But you take that, you run that stereo into what? Oh my goodness, that joint's so good. It's so good. It's so good. Why is it so fire? It's just a flanger. It's just, look at the smile it put on my face. That's crazy. And that's what you look for with a good effect. If it don't put a smile on your face, it ain't doing it right. Like, that joint put a smile on my face. Like, come on, yo. Like, that's crazy. Oh. I just had to breathe after that. That joint made me smile. What? It's the future. It's the combination of the two, for real. It's not just that it's a crazy flanger that really creates this, like, it makes the sound go around you, and then it's like the bass is still here in the center, but it's wide, and then you got the guitar like octave distortion running on there along with just what? With the LFO kicking in. And you can easily, like I said, I got it dialed into where I got I can have it subtle like that. Here's with it without it. With it. Where it just adds just enough width to where doesn't make it too wide, but makes it just a little wider. But then you kick on that flux. And that joint track. Talking about tracking. Stop talking to me about the future impact. The future impact just what? Insane. Insanely good. And not getting no credit for it, which is insane. Ain't even let you top. It even let you top on the same string at least. So yeah, you can. That's just one of my absolute favorites. Uh, that analog flanger. Yeah, I had to end with that one because that I will say, while I don't like any of the other ones for bass, and it's just me. It's not that I don't have, if you've been following me for a while, people think I got a thing against Line 6, and I don't. I don't have a dog in a fight of anybody being good or bad. All I have a dog in the fight is it actually good? And when I buy it, because I buy all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? These pedals were not gifted to me, from companies or whatever. The Future Impact was sponsored by partly sponsored by one of the subscribers. Appreciate you, bro. Neo Lover 23. And if you ever want to sponsor a pedal review, say you want a pedal review done sooner than later, you know what I'm saying? Holla at me. We work something out, but it's got to be within reason, and you got to be willing to contribute. It's not going to be, you want me to do it when you want me to do it. It costs a little money. But, I try to get to everything. I am going to get to that MXR bass synth. It's just they're out of stock, and I can't get my hands on one. If you happen to find one or have one used that you don't really need, holla at me. We'll work something out on that too. But yeah, so just to wrap things up on the topic, the modulations can change everything. They can allow you to really dig into some sounds that just aren't available without them. And they can every sound you have can be enhanced in some way with a modulation. It's every sound. Like, you just have to know how to use them. And, especially for imaging stuff, like if you want a sound to be really big like that, you got to use it's nice to use something like that analog flanger or a nice chorus with a slow speed and a high depth. Excuse me. And with the like phasers, I like a lot of same thing there. Pretty much same settings. Slow speed, lot of depth. And I pretty much use it like this. If I want to use something with a lot more speed in the modulation, I'll use less depth. And that usually balances out. Like, you just got to find a balance between the two. And the less speed I'm using, the more depth I typically will use, because it allows those big wide sounds like you were hearing with the analog flanger. So, those are just a few tips for the modulations. Now, you can also, a lot of these modulations will also allow you to sync them to a BPM. You know what I'm saying? So like that's tap tempo and different things like that. So little details like that allow you to, when you're recording, especially, sync them up nicely with a song, or and a lot of these pedals have MIDI now, so you can literally use the time clock from different MIDI devices and sync them up. So it's a lot of benefits to using these types of modulations in your rig. I'm not even using any analog modulations. I never actually used any analog. I've played through them, but I've never felt the need to buy them or keep them. I bought them, I just didn't keep them, because these are all digital. All of these were digital, and they all sounded amazing. Like, and you had them ranging from $120 to, 179, $300 to 600. And when you got up to the 600 range, you're getting a whole synth pedal, that you can play with a keyboard, and it's a polyphonic and monophonic synth with octavers and reverbs and delay. It's got all these pedals right here are extremely versatile, and they're all in stereo. That's the reason why they're this whole last row is in stereo, from the Enzo X down to the Source Audio Atlas compressor, and that just makes, like, for the modulations to really surround you. And I have that also running into a Canvas stereo line isolator. And what that does when I'm playing live and I only got a 1 amp per se, I don't have to rig up my stereo rig and or miss out on a whole channel. I just sum it and send it, which means it'll pretty much take both of those channels, put them in mono, send it out to my amp. While I can still run stereo to the board or wherever else. So, these days, I kind of, I kind of request that, yeah, I do want to run stereo because I have modulation effects and stereo effects that sound best in stereo. I'm not saying that you got to have me, I do things within reason, but, try, working out some stereo in your rig, man. Like with the modulations and the reverbs, it definitely, and the delays and stuff, it makes a huge difference because the delays, they'll be able to bounce back and forth, and you can hear the separation. And with the reverbs and modulations, they will surround you. So, I'm gonna do another comparison between these units, these 4 units. We did the modulations today. We'll do the reverbs next time, tomorrow sometime. We'll do the reverbs on these 3 or 4 units against each other, and because they all have great reverbs too. The Enzo X has 3, the small prism, medium prism, and large prism. I love the large prism on the Enzo X. The MS-70CDR Plus has this HD Hall that I really like. And tip for the Zoom users, if you want those reverbs to really sound big, run them into the air reverb afterwards. So you'll run whatever reverb you're gonna run that into the air effect, which is also in the reverb section, and that'll open that thing up for you. You know what I'm saying? So it definitely improve like the stereo imaging of it as well, and just the rich, and it helps it basically puts those reverbs on the same level as the HX1 and the Plethora X1. So then you got the Plethora X1, and that has the Hall of Fame 2 reverbs and stuff in there. The shimmer is amazing. And you got the HX1, which I love all those reverbs and delays in there. So make sure you catch the stream tomorrow. I'll be back at 9 a.m. in the morning, and then sometime after 4. Well, I'm gonna try to start at 4:34 ish. So 9. Remember that 9 a.m. 4, or you can just subscribe right now. Hit that notification button, and when I go live, you'll get a notification. Other than that, hit that like button before you go. Hit the hype button. I definitely appreciate all you chiming in. Definitely appreciate the super chat and the subscribers, the new subscribers. Thank you to the new people. Shout out to the people over on the Patreon that's supporting, $1, $5 a month, and just, helping the channel out. I take that money and I reinvest it, and I buy pedals, and I create preset packs for you guys, and I do different things like that. So, eventually we're going to turn this into a whole nation of bassists, and we're going to work it out to where everybody can learn and grow together and actually make progress. Not that, let's come and talk about, no, we're going to make real progress, and everybody going to grow, and everybody going to be great, and we're going to put out, one of my goals is to put out, is besides myself being a great musician, to produce as many great musicians as possible before I leave this earth. That's one of the main things I want to do. So if that's something you want to be a part of, make sure you hit that, subscribe. Make sure you hit that like button. And this has been another episode of All Bass Creations, Effects, Tutorials, Demos, and Review. I am the Bass Negus. Make sure you check out me on all social media at the Bass Negus, and I will catch you guys next time. Thanks for hanging with me. Don't forget, to share,